Let's talk about turbidity meters versus TDS meters and EC meters. Now, a turbidity meter measures the suspended solids. A TDS meter measures the total dissolved solids, and an EC meter just measures the electrical conductivity. So, turbidity is just the cloudiness of a fluid, and the meter measures the relative clarity or the amount of light that the liquid scatters. Now, turbidity units are measured in NTU, which is nephelometric turbidity units, or NU, which is Formazine nephelometric units, or just attenuation units. Now, this nephelometric, it's Greek for cloudy, or clouds. So that's where that comes from. Now, they just use light. They just have an emitter. Some use white light, some use infrared light, and it just, here's the unit here, and you'll find these in dishwashers to measure the turbidity of the water. And this is the unit here, and it just has a light emitting diode here, and then a receiver over here. And you can see that it goes on and off. It goes back to this little board here and sends an analog signal back to your microprocessor. So we're going to take a look at this this diode in here, see what it's doing here. So here's a let me see if I can see this thing here. I hold that in the right position here. You know, let me do it. Let me turn off the light here. There we go. You can hold that in the right spot. There we go. That's the that's an infrared LED there. I have to hold it just right. There we go. That's an infrared LED. Now, I'm using this this old phone because the cameras in these don't have infrared filters on them. The new modern phones have filters, so you won't be able to see it. So, if you have an old phone, keep it so you can detect infrared. I'm going to turn the light back on. Watch your eyes. There we go. So, that's a turbidity meter. It just measures the amount of light that's scattered from one end to the other, and then you calibrate how much turbidity you have. Now, TDS meter, it measures the dissolved solids in parts per million. Okay, so dissolved solids would be minerals, salts, metals, calcium, magnesium, potassium, sodium. Now, the liquid can be clear, but it'll have these dissolved solids in there. Now, and the TDS is calculated on the EC. So here's a meter here. It's a TDS meter, but it's basically an EC meter. Electrical conductivity, there's just two little probes in here that go into the fluid and test electrical conductivity. And from the EC meter, you calculate the TDS, the parts per million. Okay, and it's an estimate of the EC with they use with a conversion factor. But the electrical conductivity, it's the ability of to conduct electricity, and they measure that in microsiemens. So distilled water is about 0.5 to 3 microsiemens, and salt water is about 5 millisiemens. Now, I'm going to test some coffee, and coffee contains calcium, potassium, magnesium, phosphorus, sodium. So on this meter here, I got it set for, turn it on, and it's set for parts per million. So we'll see what it does here. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's about 760 parts per million. And here's our microsiemens units, and that's 1500. So it'll test in the microsiemens or the parts per million. And there's just a conversion factor there. But that's how the TDS meter works. So a lot of times you'll see people using these for turbidity meters, but they don't measure turbidity. They don't measure the suspended solids, just the dissolved solids. So 2 different meters, and the TDS meter just uses an EC meter to, and then they calculate the TDS in parts per million. But that's about it on turbidity and TDS and EC meters. So thank you.